Intel had planned to use Xscale to expand its influence into mobile and embedded devices where x86 compatibility was not necessary. Strong-ARM modern RISC architecture appeared suited to replace Intel's soon failed attempts to introduce non-x86 compatible RISC processor families, including its i422, i860 and i960. Strong-ARM is an architecture based on ARM v5 ISA without floating point. It uses 7-stage integral and 8-stage memory super pipeline microarchitecture. Xscale is the successor of Intel's Strong-ARM microprocessors bought by DEC Digital Semiconductor Division in the mid-90s. Intel developed Xscale into various processor families: IOP, I/O processors, input-output, ISP, network processor, the ones that Apple wanted to buy, both for mobile devices and desktop laptops, IHC, control plane processors, CE, consumer electronic processors, PDA, application processors used in PDA and early cell phones. Xscale had dynamic voltage scaling the frequency related to the power, very useful on battery-powered devices because it could slow down the PDA by saving battery life when it was low and pushing it to high performances when the battery was full. Intel PSA 250, Cotula 2002. It had power from 200, 300 and 400 MHz. Then in 2003, PSA 255 revision, the 200 MHz had upgraded internal bus speed and it had 400 MHz lower core voltage at 1.3 volt. Its successor PSA 260 families 261, 263, codename Dalai 2003. It was 53% smaller than PSA 250. It used Intel Strata Flash memory in the same package as CPU with 3 different sizes: 16 MB of 16-bit memory for PSA 261, 32 MB of 16-bit memory for PSA 262, 32 MB of 32-bit memory on PSA 263. The most used Intel Xscale processor belonged to the 270 family, Boulevard 2004. It had an upgrading clock speed 312, 416, 520 and top 624 MHz for the PSA 270 processor, while the PSA 271 it was lower power like 104, 208, 416 MHz with 32 MB of 16-bit Strata Flash memory and 32 MB of 16-bit SD RAM in the same package. While the PSA 272 it had the frequency of 312, 416, 520 MHz with a lot of memory that was 64 MB of 32-bit stacked Strata Flash memory. Then this chip had also upgraded technology, wireless MMS, to boost speed in games and multimedia decoding, quick capture to boost full motion video encoding and pre-processing for the cameras, speed step, lower clock speed when lower load. It also had USB host and camera interface to 56 KB of SRAM to reduce power consumption and latency. The Intel PSA 300, 310, 320 processor, codename Mohanas 2005, it had the frequency of 1.25 GHz with 25% better performances than Boulevard. It had a power of 1000 million instructions per second, against the 800 million instructions per second developed by the Intel PSA270 running at 624 MHz. The Intel PSA-800F processor codenamed Manitoba, it was used in GSM and GPRS mobile phones. It had a frequency of 312 MHz with 4 MB of integrated flash memory. The Intel PSA-90H Hammond, it was the successor of the Manitoba chip, with which is supported built on 130nm fabrication. The last processor developed by Intel before selling everything to Marvell Technology was the PSA-930-935 codenamed Tavo. It was a twelve-core supporting 3 different ARM architectures, ARM v5TE like the original Xscale, ARM v6 and ARM v7 instruction compatibility. The PSA-930, it was built on 65nm process and used in BlackBerry Bold 9700, while the PSA-935 was built on 45nm process. However, after almost 10 years of investment into Xscale, Intel had seen a few hit products using the chips like Palm Trees, Pocket PCs from Compaq, Dell and HP, Creative Zen MP3 players. Compared to the fat profit margins of its PC x86 chips, the Xscale operation appeared to be nothing less than a money pit. That makes it more understandable why Intel disagreed to supply Apple with a few million ARM chips for its wireless cards that would cost it much more money to develop and manufacture. Apple also had the idea to power the first iPhone with Intel Xscale, but didn't buy it for the same reason. Intel put a lot of money into features for Xscale, but earned little money by selling them. It was unsustainable business. Intel sold the PSA family of chips to Marvell Technology Group in June 2006. Then Marvell extended these CPUs, including other microarchitectures like ARM Cortex.